Hi, I'm Leia. If someone had told me that my mom would become mayor one day, I would have laughed and said, "My mom? Come on." I had no idea what I was in for. When I was 12, my mom was just a typical mom. She would go to Starbucks, buy hot cocoa for me and my sister Claire, and sit with us on a park bench. She would tell us stories about riding a bike and dyeing her hair blue in her youth. She let us watch TV shows until late at night and was super chill in general. But then, one day, everything changed. Mom was elected mayor of our town. At first, we were over the moon. Like, wow, our mom is important now. But it quickly became clear that along with her new title, she also received a superpower called control over everyone. Mom became different, serious, cold, busy. Now she only wore formal attire and said things like, "Image is capital." From that moment, we lived by new rules. Mom decided where we could go. A personal driver drove us to school. In public, we were forbidden from saying anything except pre-approved phrases like, "Yes, Mom, I'm proud of your work." I was a kid back then, and to be honest, I thought my mom was a hero. I thought it was cool that she was such a strong woman, that she was working hard to make everyone respect us. But Claire, who was already 14 at the time, hated it. She was always arguing with Mom. Whatever she said, Mom replied in an icy tone. "My house, my rules." Then she would take away Claire's phone or pocket money. Sometimes she would even ground her. 4 years went by like that. I turned 16 and Claire turned 18. During that time, Mom had become a real boss of our town. Even the adults were afraid of her. Everyone was under control. All news were filtered, and Mom made all the decisions at home as well, from what we wore to what we ate. And then, one evening, Claire came to my room. Her eyes were shining. "Leia, could you cover for me?" "What do you mean?" "I met some cool guys and want to hang out with them. Please, just tell Mom that I went to bed." Hang out? Without Mom's permission? That was a nuclear disaster waiting to happen. But Claire could be convincing when she wanted to. She promised it wouldn't take long, that everything would be okay, and most importantly, that Mom would never find out. I hesitated for a long time, but eventually agreed. That's how it all started. Every week, Claire would sneak out of the house and I would cover for her. Sometimes she would come back at the dead of night, glowing, with glitter in her hair and flushed cheeks. She told me about her new friends, laughter, music, and freedom. I listened and envied her. And then I had a terrible day. I wanted to go roller skating, but Mom stopped me. "The election campaign is underway. We need to be perfect." Instead of the park, she told me to go to the printing house to get her election flyers. Her assistant, Mr. Bales, usually took care of that, but he was sick. And of course, who was supposed to fix it? That's right, I was. I was mad. It truly made my blood boil, but arguing was useless. Mom would have thrown one look at me and I would have grounded myself. I got into the car and was on my way. While I was driving through a park, the sun was shining, and listening to the radio cheered me up a bit. But then, whoosh! A guy on a skateboard came out of nowhere. Bam! My bumper was slightly dented, and his skateboard broke into pieces. "Are you blind?" "Hey, what were you doing in the middle of the road?" "I'm sorry you have a reaction time of a turtle." We argued for about 20 minutes. He said his name was Ryan, and I said I was running late because of him. In the end, the police arrived, wrote something down, and that was it. However, the printing house had already closed by then. I drove home angrier than ever. Everything had gone wrong, both because of that stupid skater and because of Mom, who always decided everything for everyone. "Leia, don't you realize you've disgraced our family?" "Mom, it wasn't my fault." I went to my room and burst into tears. Soon, Claire walked in. "Guess what? Eric and his friends are throwing a party at the old warehouse today." "Lucky you. I wish I could disobey Mom even once." "Come with me then." "What?" "Well, why not? We'll just use our pillows to make it look like we're sitting at the desk. If Mom checks, she'll just think we're studying." It sounded crazy, but at that moment, I suddenly realized that I was tired of being the mayor's perfect daughter. Okay, just this once. We made mannequins out of pillows and sat them down at my desk. Then, we quietly climbed out of the window and headed to the warehouse. As we got close, we heard music and laughter, smelled pizza. Lights were flashing, people were dancing, and some kids were sitting on soda barrels. Everything was so alive and real. As I stood there and looked around, I felt like I was breathing freely for the first time. No one told me how to act. No one double-checked what I was saying. And then I saw him, Ryan, the skater boy. He was standing by a wall with a can of soda. When he saw me, his eyes bugged out. You? What are you doing here? We glared at each other. He turned away to his friends, and I turned back to Claire. But still, despite the crowd, our eyes met a few more times. Meanwhile, Claire was already dancing with some guy. I think his name is Eric. He was tall and smiling at her like she was his whole universe. I looked at him, at the lights, and the people around me, and thought, this is the life, the one Mom took away from us. Everything changed after that night. Claire and I started to regularly sneak out together. At first, just to party, but then to have picnics by the river or walk around the city at night with our friends. We covered for each other, and it became our little secret. For the first time, I felt like Claire and I weren't just sisters, but a real team. The more time I spent away from Mom, the more I realized what she was really like. I used to think she was just strict because she wanted the best for us, but then I realized Mom wanted her word to be law, to control everyone, even her own children. One day, I overheard her talking to Mr. Bales. He spoke softly, but I still heard him. We could get in trouble if they send an inspection. Don't worry, the voters love me. They won't get wind of anything. Did my mother, who always talked about honesty, order, and reputation, break law? That was the first time I wondered if everything I believed in was just a beautiful facade. A couple of weeks went by, and our friends threw a party at an abandoned construction site. It was awesome. Bonfires, music blasting from the speakers, dances, roasting marshmallows. Everyone was laughing and shouting like we were in a teen movie. I felt alive. But of course, things went downhill. Apparently, a local called the police and told them teenagers had sneaked into the closed-off area. We heard sirens, saw flashing lights, and someone shouted, "Scatter! Now!" Everyone ran in different directions. I followed Claire, but tripped, fell, and hurt my knee, and then a cop shined a light right at my face. I thought, this is it. Mom's gonna kill me. But then someone grabbed my arm and pulled me away. It was Ryan. Hurry up! We climbed over the fence and hid behind trash cans. I was huffing like a steam train, and he kept whispering, "Shh, it's okay." I was quiet as a mouse, but Ryan was still caught when he tried to help someone else escape. I was so worried I couldn't fall asleep that night, but he was released a day later after they questioned him. That day, I saw Ryan in a new light, like he risked himself to save me. From that moment on, we started to text each other. We even laughed when we remembered the accident that happened the day we met. He said he had always seen me as the mayor's arrogant daughter that looked down on everyone, and I admitted that I thought he was a dumb tryhard with a skateboard. We were both wrong. Ryan turned out to be cool, funny, and real. Turns out you're a cool girl. For some reason, hearing that felt good. But of course, good things don't last. Mom was getting bogged down in her work. Then, some independent reporter named Terrence showed up and decided to expose the mayor. He wrote a bunch of articles claiming that my mom was stealing money from the town and even presented some evidence. People were shocked. Some said that Terrence was lying. Others believed it was all true. Mom was pissed off. She organized children's events, opened parks, painted curbs, and dragged us along everywhere. Like she was saying, "Look how wonderful my daughters are." Claire and I didn't have any free time. Naturally, Claire was mad about it. "She's using us as props. You've been on edge lately. Come on, what happened?" And she told me, her voice trembling when she said, "Leia, I'm pregnant." What? Eric's the father, but he doesn't know yet. I'm not ready to tell him. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to hug her, but I knew that if Mom found out, it would be a disaster. It was like Mom sensed that we were slipping out of her control. She grounded us both. No phones, no leaving the house, no walks or fresh air. Meanwhile, that journalist Terrence persisted. He posted new articles, found witnesses, and one of them, a worker, said that the mayor's office had embezzled money allocated for public utilities. Mom was shouting like crazy and threatening to fire everyone, and those weren't empty threats either. And then the worst possible thing happened. One evening, Claire came to my room again with red eyes and trembling lips. "I need to talk to Eric. Please cover for me, okay?" "Of course, don't worry." I waited for her for an hour, then 2, 3, but Claire didn't come back. She didn't answer her phone either. It was past midnight, but she was still out. I started to panic. I called Ryan because he was the only person who could help, but when he answered, his voice was cold, not at all like it used to be. "Leia? What do you want?" "Claire is missing. I can't find her." "You know what? I don't want anything to do with the two of you." "What? Why?" "Because your mom is a monster. It turned out that the worker who gave the interview to Terrence was Ryan's father. After that video came out, Mom personally fired him. No compensation, no explanation. I listened to Ryan and couldn't believe it. But at that moment, all I could think about was Claire. Where was she? Was she all right? I ran out of the house without thinking. I ran through the streets and past fences without a plan until I saw someone on a park bench. It was Claire. She sat there huddled with smeared mascara and a look on her face like the whole world came to an end. Claire? She looked up at me, and I immediately understood everything by the way she was shaking. I told Eric. I told him I'm pregnant. And he just laughed. He said that he already has a fiancé, some rich girl, that our fling was just for fun, that I was sweet but too naive, and he left. I wanted to find that idiot and hit him with something heavy. Claire was crying and I just held her and petted her shoulder, not knowing what to say. I felt so angry and hurt, as if it had all happened to me. When we got home, it was past midnight, but Mom, of course, wasn't sleeping. Where have you been? Claire and I exchanged glances, and I realized that there was no point in hiding it anymore. We told her everything. Pregnant? Just before the election? Tomorrow is the most important day and you've humiliated me. Not a word to anyone. But why? Claire is already of age, it's fine. I said not a word. Mom wasn't worried about Claire or the baby, only about herself, her image, her perfect family. Claire spent the night sobbing into her pillow. I was sitting by the window, looking outside and trying to figure out what happened to the mom who used to make us pancakes in the morning. Muffled voices were coming from the study. Mom was talking to Mr. Bales again. I heard something about hushing up and controlling the situation. The next day, everything went according to plan. The election, cameras, smiles, crowd. Mom was performing again. She won. People clapped and congratulated her. At home, Mom threw a fit. You let me down, both of you. I almost lost because of you. And then she turned to Claire and said, "You're ruining my reputation. I'm sending you to Aunt Joan away from here." Mom, do you hear yourself? She's your daughter. She's my greatest shame. At that moment, I realized that I no longer wanted to live with her, but we had nowhere to go. A couple of days later, Mom threw a victory party. Our house was full of important people. And then Terrence, the journalist, walked through our door with a camera, a microphone, and a cheeky smile. "Madam Mayor, what do you have to say about the accusations of vote rigging?" Everyone froze. Terrence turned on a video showing the real results, and Mom and Mr. Bales stuffing ballots. An hour later, our house was surrounded by reporters. The next morning, the town launched an investigation. Mom was removed from office. She sat at home, furious and despondent. She stopped talking to us. She just locked herself into her room and stayed silent for days on end. I couldn't bear witnessing it anymore and decided to do something. We need to talk. Ryan and I met by the park where we first became friends. I told him about everything. My mother, the vote rigging, how ashamed I was of everything she had done. I'm not like her. I want to fix everything. We can find Terrence and ask him to help your dad get his job back. You're brave. You know, I thought I'd never forgive you. But okay, let's give it a try. We found Terrence. He wasn't that scary, just persistent. He promised to help, and a few days later, Ryan's father was offered a new job, albeit not in the same place, but still a good one. Meanwhile, Mom was getting worse. She was found guilty, removed from her post, and made to pay a huge fine. At first, she just sat at home and did nothing. Then she got sick. Claire and I took care of her. We cooked, helped, brought her medicine. One evening, she called us to her room. "Girls, I'm sorry. I do not know what came over me. I thought I was doing everything for you, but I lost myself." I looked at Claire and she nodded. We hugged Mom, not because we forgot everything she did, but because we were tired of hating. Gradually, things got better. Ryan and I saw each other a lot. He joked that I was now the daughter of the former mayor, and I teased him about being a skater hero. Claire had changed. She became calm and responsible. She was preparing to become a mom, and for the first time, I saw her as an adult. Eric's fiancé found out he cheated on her and broke up with him. Eric tried to get back with Claire, but my sister rejected him. She decided that child support would benefit the child more than having a father like that. As for Mom, she finally became just our mom again, without the power, suits, or assistance. She helped Claire, cooked, and laughed. Sometimes, she even said that she was proud of us, and she stopped ordering us around. When I think back on everything that happened, I realize that power can change a person. Mom lost herself because she got too caught up in trying to be perfect. If someone were to ask me what I learned, I would just say, no one should be mayor in their own family.